The command room at the International Space Monitoring Center buzzed with an unusual urgency. Monitors flickered with streams of data and staff paced with restless anticipation. At the center, Dr. Mark Caldwell stared at the screen, his eyes tracing the contours of the bizarre signal that had hijacked their systems. "Are you absolutely sure this isn't a prank or some intern's idea of a joke?" General Parker, the head of ISMC operations, asked, folding his arms across his chest as he leaned back against the console. Mark rubbed his temples. "It's real, General. It's too complex and too consistent. And it's definitely extraterrestrial. No human technology can broadcast at these frequencies or from that distance." Captain Jonathan Hayes, recently assigned as the military liaison, chimed in. "What's it saying? Can we understand it?" "Not fully," Mark replied, adjusting his glasses. "But I've managed to parse out something like an invitation. It's repeating a sequence of coordinates outside our solar system, followed by a series of mathematical challenges. It's like they're testing us or inviting us to something." "A challenge from aliens. And we're considering responding?" Hayes asked, skepticism lacing his tone. "Not just considering. We have to respond," General Parker interjected. "If there's technology out there that we can access, we need to be first in line. This could be a game changer for humanity." Hayes nodded, the weight of the situation settling on his shoulders. "So, what's the plan?" "We send a team," the general decided. "And Captain, you will lead it. We need someone with your combat experience and strategic mind." Hayes straightened, a mix of honor and apprehension in his eyes. "Who else is on the team?" "Dr. Caldwell, for one. We need his expertise to continue communication and handle the scientific aspects. Additionally, Lieutenant Sarah Martinez, an expert in xenobiology, and Dr. Leo Zhang, our top engineer." "Understood. When do we leave?" "As soon as you're ready. Time is of the essence." The following hours were a blur of preparations. Hayes and his chosen team gathered in the briefing room, maps and equipment laid out before them. Martinez broke the tense silence. "It's one thing to study alien life theoretically. It's another to possibly meet them face to face." Zhang, the engineer, adjusted his glasses, looking over the schematics of the ship they would use. "The tech we're taking isn't just for show. If we encounter hostile environments or, worse, hostile entities, we'll be ready." Hayes looked at each of his team members. "This mission isn't just about making contact. It's about showing that humanity can hold its own, no matter what we find out there. We're not just going to meet these aliens. We're going to face whatever challenges they throw at us, and we're going to come back with answers." Dr. Caldwell nodded in agreement, his face serious but eyes alight with the spark of curiosity. "We have a chance here not just to expand our horizons, but to possibly secure our future. Let's make sure we're up to the task." The team spent the night poring over every piece of data they had, familiarizing themselves with the theoretical and practical. As dawn crept over the horizon, they were more than a team. They were a unit, ready to face the unknown. With their gear checked and spirits high, they made their way to the launch pad. Hayes led the way, his resolve firm. "Let's make history," he said, glancing back at his team with a confident grin. As the spacecraft's engines ignited, sending roars through the complex, humanity took its first true step into the interstellar community, not just as explorers, but as contenders in the cosmic arena. Captain Jonathan Hayes and his team emerged from the hyperspace transition, their eyes wide as they took in the sight of Arcanus 4, a lush, verdant planet dotted with monumental structures and vast arenas that sprawled across the landscape. Dr. Mark Caldwell was the first to break the silence, his voice tinged with awe. "Incredible. It's nothing like what we expected. This must be a gathering place, a meeting ground for different civilizations." Lieutenant Sarah Martinez peered out of the viewport, analyzing the alien foliage and biome. "The biodiversity here could be a goldmine for xenobiological research," she mused, her thoughts already racing ahead to the possibilities. Dr. Leo Zhang was busy with the ship's controls, ensuring their landing trajectory was set. "Landing zone looks prepared for us. It seems they've been expecting visitors," he noted, the calm in his voice a stark contrast to the rush of excitement around him. As the ship descended towards a designated platform, a throng of diverse alien species gathered. Some were towering, others minuscule, each different in form and feature from the last, yet all had their attention fixed on the human arrivals. Once on solid ground, a delegation approached. The leader, a towering figure with iridescent scales, spoke first, their voice resonating through a device that translated their speech. "Welcome, humans, to the great contest of Arcanus 4. You've accepted the invitation, now you must prove your worth." Hayes stepped forward, his posture resolute. "We come prepared to face whatever challenges you set before us. We're here not just to compete, but to win." The alien leader nodded, seemingly pleased with Hayes' resolve. "Good. You will find that the Zalkith are your first opponents. They are respected for their strategic minds and feared for their ruthlessness in combat." The mention of the Zalkith caused a stir among some of the other alien groups, their expressions turning wary, some even stepping back slightly. Martinez leaned in, whispering to Hayes, "Seems like the Zalkith have quite the reputation." Caldwell, always the scientist, was busy recording everything, his device capturing the nuances of the alien interactions. "Understanding their social dynamics might give us an edge. There's more to this than just physical battles." Hayes nodded, then turned back to the alien leader. "When does the competition begin?" "Tomorrow at sunrise. Rest and prepare, for the Zalkith do not often yield to their opponents." The team was escorted to their quarters, a surprisingly comfortable habitat suited for human needs. Once inside, Hayes convened a quick meeting. "All right, team, we know what we're up against. Let's use this time wisely. Caldwell, I want you to keep digging into their tech and communications. Martinez, you're with me. We'll scout the area, get a feel for the terrain. Zhang, make sure our gear is combat ready. We need every edge we can get." As night fell on Arcanus 4, the team was a flurry of activity. Caldwell decrypted more of the alien tech, intrigued by the complexity and advanced nature of their systems. Martinez and Hayes strategized, using the maps and data collected to plan their approach against the Zalkith. Zhang was in his element, meticulously checking each piece of equipment, upgrading their defense mechanisms with modifications inspired by the brief glimpses of alien technology he had observed during their arrival. Hayes checked on each member, ensuring they were prepared, but also reassuring them of their capability to handle what was to come. "We've faced unknowns before," he said, his voice steady and confident. "We're here to show that humanity isn't just another participant in these games. We're contenders." As they settled down for the night, each knew that the coming dawn would test their skills, their courage, and their unity as never before. But they were ready to face the Zalkith and to prove humanity's place among the stars. The dawn at Arcanus 4 was unlike any on Earth. As the sun crested the horizon, casting a brilliant spectrum of colors across the sky, Captain Jonathan Hayes and his team were already deep in preparation. Their quarters had transformed into a makeshift command center filled with maps, digital displays, and alien artifacts. "All right, listen up," Hayes commanded, his voice cutting through the morning's quiet. "We have less than 24 hours before our first clash with the Zalkith. We're not just going to react to their moves, we're going to set the pace." Lieutenant Sarah Martinez, who had spent the night analyzing the terrain and possible encounter zones, pointed to a holographic display of the arena. "There are 3 key areas here, and here," she indicated, highlighting a dense forest, a rugged mountainous region, and a narrow valley. "Each offers tactical advantages and challenges. We should assume the Zalkith will use their knowledge of the arena to their advantage." Dr. Liu Zhang interjected, his hands busy assembling a piece of technology they had acquired. "I've modified our standard-issue weapons with enhancements based on the tech we've seen here. Increased range, better accuracy, and a few surprises should they try to flank us." Dr. Mark Caldwell, meanwhile, was absorbed in translating more of the alien communications they had intercepted. "I've cracked another layer of their encryption. It's mostly logistical, but there's mention of a ceremony before the fight. It could be a good chance to observe the Zalkith up close without engaging immediately." Hayes nodded approvingly. "Good work. We'll use that ceremony to size them up. Caldwell, keep trying to access their strategy communications. Anything you can learn about their battle tactics could give us the edge we need." As the team geared up, each member reviewed their role and equipment. Martinez and Hayes focused on tactical drills, practicing maneuvers and quick response strategies. Zhang tested each piece of gear, ensuring functionality, while Caldwell continued his decryption work, occasionally passing on snippets of useful intel. Later that day, as they approached the arena for the ceremonial meeting, tension ran high. The team moved in a tight formation, their senses alert. The arena was a colossal structure, its walls lined with spectators from countless alien races. The center of the arena was a flat, open space where the Zalkith delegation awaited. Hayes stepped forward to meet the Zalkith leader, a formidable figure clad in armor that seemed to ripple with a life of its own. The creature's eyes were sharp, its gaze piercing. "Human," it greeted in a low, resonant voice. "Your presence here is noted. Do not expect mercy." "We don't ask for any," Hayes responded calmly, his stance firm. "We're here to compete, just as you are." As the ceremonial rituals unfolded, strange music filling the air, exotic scents wafting from incense burners, Caldwell whispered to Hayes, indicating a subtle shift in the Zalkith's deployment. "They're confident, maybe too confident. They seem to expect a quick victory." Hayes caught Martinez's eye, giving a slight nod. They both understood the opportunity this presented. If the Zalkith underestimated them, that could be their undoing. After the ceremony, the team regrouped. Their resolve hardened. "They think they've seen our kind before," Hayes told his team. "Let's prove them wrong. We fight not just with strength, but with intelligence, adaptability, and teamwork. Let's turn their confidence into their defeat." That night, as Arcanus IV's twin moons climbed the sky, Hayes and his team finalized their strategy. They pored over every piece of data, every tactical advantage they could glean. They were not just ready to fight, they were ready to dominate. "Tomorrow, we show them what humans are made of," Hayes declared, his voice full of grim determination. The team echoed his sentiment, their spirits bolstered by their captain's leadership. As they rested for the few hours remaining before dawn, each team member knew that the coming day would test everything they had prepared for. But they also knew they wouldn't face it alone. They had each other, and together, they were a force to be reckoned with. The air was thick with tension as Captain Jonathan Hayes and his team approached the designated battleground for their first encounter with the Zalkith. The terrain was rugged, dominated by a series of jagged cliffs that cast long, ominous shadows across the narrow valley below, a perfect setting for an ambush. "Keep your eyes sharp," Hayes whispered into his comms, leading the team through the rocky terrain. "Martinez, Zhang, on my flanks. Caldwell, keep scanning their comms. Any intel could be crucial." Dr. Mark Caldwell, his device in hand, nodded silently, his focus unbroken as he sifted through the alien transmissions. "There's increased chatter. They're close, possibly watching us already." Lieutenant Sarah Martinez adjusted her weapon, her senses alert to every slight movement around them. Dr. Liu Zhang, loaded with his tech-enhanced gear, scanned the area for any technological signatures that could indicate hidden threats. As they neared a particularly narrow pass, Hayes signaled a halt. "Ambush likely. Zhang, deploy the drones." Zhang promptly set 2 small drones into the air, their silent motors a soft hum in the stillness. The drones beamed back live footage, revealing several Zalkith warriors concealed behind the upper ridge, their scales blending almost perfectly with the gray stone. "Got them," Hayes said, his voice low. "Prepare to engage." "Caldwell, any weakness in their positioning?" "Just one," Caldwell replied, analyzing the data. "There's a narrower point on the ridge to the left. If we can funnel them there, their numbers won't count for as much." "Martinez, take point with me. Zhang, cover our rear. Caldwell, keep feeding us updates." Hayes directed, his plan swiftly taking shape. They moved stealthily, using the uneven terrain to their advantage. As they reached the choke point Caldwell had identified, Hayes gave the signal. Instantly, they sprang into action. The Zalkith, caught off guard by the humans' sudden and strategic assault, scrambled to return fire. The sound of gunfire and energy weapons clashed with the rocky echoes of the valley. Martinez proved her mettle, skillfully managing to take down 2 Zalkith with precise shots. "Area clear," she called out, checking the bodies for any useful intel. However, the skirmish was far from over. A larger group of Zalkith warriors, previously hidden, now emerged, their weapons ready. "Incoming," Zhang warned as he unleashed one of his technological tricks, a high-frequency pulse emitter that disoriented the attackers momentarily. Using the disruption, Hayes led a countercharge. The team fought fiercely, their training and preparations paying off as they adapted to each twist of the combat. Yet, the Zalkith were relentless, their brute strength and advanced weaponry pushing the humans back. "Caldwell, we need an exit," Hayes shouted, firing his rifle as he covered the team's tactical withdrawal. "On it," Caldwell responded, quickly tapping into the arena's topographic data. "There's an old drainage channel just south of your position. It should lead you out of the direct conflict zone." Guided by Caldwell's instructions, the team maneuvered towards the channel, suppressing the Zalkith fire as they went. They slipped into the channel, its narrow confines providing the necessary cover to escape the heated battle. Once they reached safety, Hayes assessed the situation. They had inflicted significant damage on the Shalkith, but had also sustained injuries themselves. Martinez nursed a wound on her arm, and Zhang's gear showed signs of wear. "We did well, but this was just a taste of what the Shalkith can do," Hayes said gravely, reviewing their tactical data. "Let's patch up and regroup. We need to be ready for the next round." As they made their way back to their base, each member of the team was silent, lost in thought over the day's fierce fighting. It was clear now, more than ever, this competition would demand everything they had. But with determination and unity, they were ready to rise to the challenge. After their initial skirmish with the Shalkith, Captain Jonathan Hayes and his team were more determined than ever to fortify their position. While recovering and reassessing their strategies, they decided to explore more of Arcanus 4, hoping to uncover any advantage that could aid in their upcoming confrontations. As they ventured into a less frequented sector of the planet, the dense foliage and overgrown ruins hinted at a civilization long forgotten. "This place is ancient," Dr. Liu Zhang observed, his hands running over the textured walls covered in moss and vines. "There might be something here we can use." Lieutenant Sarah Martinez, still nursing her arm from the previous encounter, scanned the surroundings for any biological hazards. "Let's keep our guards up, not just for the Shalkith, but for anything else this planet might throw at us." While the team explored the ruins, Dr. Mark Caldwell was particularly drawn to a series of carvings that depicted various alien species engaged in what appeared to be battles similar to their own. "These images, they're telling a story. This place might have been another arena, or maybe a training ground." As Hayes and the team delved deeper into the ruins, they stumbled upon a cache of technology that seemed surprisingly preserved. Zhang's eyes lit up as he examined the devices. "This tech is still operational. It's way beyond what we have on Earth. We could integrate some of this into our gear." The team spent hours in the ruins, extracting as much technology and data as they could carry. Caldwell managed to activate a holographic terminal that projected a detailed archive of the planet's history. It revealed that Arcanus 4 was once a hub for interstellar competitions, attracting warriors from across the galaxy to test their mettle. "Look at this," Caldwell said, pointing to a section of the archive. "These weren't just random battles. They were highly organized tests of strategy and strength. The winners gained access to resources, alliances, even territories." Hayes considered the implications. "If we can learn from their tactics, maybe adapt some of their strategies, we could turn the tables on the Shalkith." The archives also hinted at alliances formed in times of need, suggesting that even the fiercest competitors sometimes joined forces. "Perhaps there's a lesson here," Martinez mused. "Strength isn't just in confrontation, but also in cooperation." With their newfound knowledge and technology, the team returned to their base, invigorated and ready to tackle the challenge from a new angle. Zhang set to work immediately, integrating alien tech into their equipment, enhancing their weaponry, and fortifying their defenses. Hayes gathered the team for a briefing, laying out their revamped strategies. "We've got new tech and old wisdom on our side now. Let's use both to craft our path to victory. We'll outsmart and outmaneuver the Shalkith." As they prepared for the next round of battles, the team felt a renewed sense of purpose. They weren't just fighting for survival or to win a competition. They were there to prove that humanity could thrive in the cosmos, learning from the past and forging alliances when necessary. The next day, as they approached the arena, the team was not just better equipped, but also better informed. They were ready to face the Shalkith, knowing that each challenge overcome was a step toward their ultimate goal of establishing humanity's place in the galactic community. Armed with new strategies and enhanced technology from the ancient ruins, Captain Jonathan Hayes and his team approached the next battle with a renewed sense of confidence. The alien technology integrated into their gear by Dr. Liu Zhang provided them with superior firepower and defensive capabilities, while the tactical insights gleaned from the ruins had given them new ideas for outmaneuvering the Shalkith. As they prepared to enter the arena, Dr. Mark Caldwell reviewed the last bits of decrypted communication from the Shalkith. "They're expecting us to be disheartened after the first skirmish. They're not anticipating that we've upgraded our equipment or tactics," he informed the team. "Let's use that underestimation to our advantage," Hayes responded, his voice steady and commanding. "Martinez, you and I will lead the frontal assault. Zhang, I need you to set up our new defenses on that ridge. Caldwell, keep monitoring their comms. We strike hard and fast, then pull them into Zhang's trap." The battleground was a vast open field with patches of dense forest that could provide cover. The Shalkith were already assembled, their figures imposing and confident, their weapons gleaming under the alien sun. The battle commenced with an intense exchange of fire. Hayes and Lieutenant Sarah Martinez used the enhanced mobility of their gear to outpace the Zalkith warriors, weaving through the battlefield and drawing them toward the prepared trap. Their movements were swift and precise, a dance of death choreographed under the harshest lights. Meanwhile, Zhang had set up energy barriers that flickered invisibly until they were activated. As the main contingent of Zalkith warriors chased Hayes and Martinez into the designated area, he triggered the barriers, effectively cutting them off from their reinforcements. "The barriers are holding! Go, go, go!" Zhang shouted over the comms, his voice a mix of excitement and tension. With the Zalkith forces split, the human team capitalized on their disarray. Caldwell, from his vantage point, relayed real-time tactical updates, guiding Hayes and Martinez through the enemy lines. "Left flank is weaker. Rotate there," he directed, his eyes glued to the screens that displayed the shifting formations. The Zalkith, realizing they had been outmaneuvered, attempted to regroup, but the surprise and confusion were too much. The human team's coordinated strikes and the relentless pressure broke through their defenses, causing chaos in their ranks. As the tide of battle turned, Hayes led a decisive charge, pushing the advantage. Each member of his team moved with lethal precision, their enhanced weaponry cutting through the alien armor as if it were paper. Martinez landed a series of critical blows that disabled the Zalkith's command unit, effectively leaving their ground forces leaderless. "Command unit down! They're faltering," she reported, a triumphant edge to her voice. The Zalkith warriors, seeing their leaders fall and their numbers dwindling, began to retreat, their morale shattered. Hayes watched as the once formidable enemy fled the field. He raised his fist in the air, signaling victory to his team. As the dust settled and the sounds of battle faded, the human team gathered, breathing heavily but alive and victorious. Their display of strategic prowess and the effective use of alien technology had not only won them the battle, but it also earned them a grudging respect from other species watching the event. "We did more than just win today," Hayes said to his team, pride evident in his voice. "We showed them what humans are capable of. We're not just survivors, we're contenders." The victory was sweet, but all of them knew that it was only one battle in a larger war. There were more challenges ahead, but for now they could take a moment to savor their success, knowing they had shifted the perception of humanity among the stars. The atmosphere was electric as Captain Jonathan Hayes and his team prepared for what was anticipated to be the culminating confrontation of the tournament. The arena was abuzz with a mixture of anticipation and tension, as spectators from various civilizations gathered to witness the final showdown between humanity and the Zalkith. "All right, team, this is it. Everything we've worked for comes down to this moment," Hayes briefed, his gaze locking onto each member of his squad. Lieutenant Sarah Martinez, Dr. Leo Zhang, and Dr. Mark Caldwell nodded, their expressions a blend of determination and focus. "Zhang, those upgrades you've integrated into our systems. Today they need to perform at their peak. Make sure everything's optimized," Hayes commanded. "Checked and rechecked, Captain. We're as ready as we'll ever be," Zhang replied, patting the case containing his customized gadgets. Caldwell interjected, his voice steady despite the stakes. "I've managed to intercept some last-minute communications. The Zalkith are planning a massive first strike. They're not holding anything back." "That's because they know what we're capable of now," Martinez added, checking her weapons one final time. "Let's make sure they understand just how much they've underestimated us." As the team made their way to the arena, the ground itself seemed to thrum with the roar of the crowd. The open battlefield had been chosen for the final battle, offering no advantage of terrain or cover, a true test of strategy and strength. The Zalkith were already assembled on the field, their formidable figures clad in armor that gleamed menacingly under the alien sun. At their lead was their commander, the same towering figure that Hayes had first spoken to upon their arrival, his eyes burning with a cold fire. The signal for the start of the battle sounded, a deep, sonorous boom that echoed across the field. Instantly, the air was filled with the hum of energy weapons and the sharp reports of human gunfire. Hayes and Martinez took the lead, moving with precision, their practiced maneuvers keeping the Zalkith off balance. Meanwhile, Zhang activated a series of drones, which darted across the battlefield, disrupting the Zalkith's targeting systems and sowing confusion. Caldwell, from his position behind a hastily erected shield, continued to relay crucial information. "They're flanking to the right. Adjust your positions." Responding instantly, Hayes directed Martinez to pivot, catching the flanking Zalkith with a fierce counter-assault. The field became a chaotic dance of move and counter-move, each side pushing the limits of their tactical acumen. The turning point came when Zhang announced that the energy source they had discovered in the ruins was finally ready to be deployed. "Hayes, it's now or never." With a nod, Hayes signaled Caldwell to initiate the device. The scientist activated the mechanism, unleashing a pulse of energy that swept across the battlefield. The Zalkith, caught off guard, were momentarily stunned, their systems overloaded by the unexpected surge. Seizing the moment, Hayes led a charge directly towards the Zalkith commander. The battle between them was fierce and brief. Hayes' skill and determination matched against the alien's brute strength and battle experience. With a decisive move, Hayes managed to disarm the commander, pressing the point of his weapon against the alien's chest. The field fell silent, all eyes on the two warriors in the center. The Zalkith commander, recognizing defeat, nodded slowly and stepped back, signaling his forces to stand down. As the announcement of humanity's victory was made, the crowd erupted in a mix of cheers and murmurs. Hayes and his team, breathing heavily but upright, gathered together, their arms around each other's shoulders. "We did more than win a battle today," Hayes said, his voice loud and clear for all to hear. "We proved that humanity is not to be underestimated. We are a force to be reckoned with." The respect from the spectators was palpable as the team walked off the field, not just as victors, but as a testament to human ingenuity, courage, and the indomitable spirit. As they exited, they knew that the galaxy would now look at humanity through a new lens, one of respect and perhaps a hint of fear. After the resounding victory against the Zalkith, Captain Jonathan Hayes and his team returned to the central hub of Arcanus 4, greeted not only as champions, but also as harbingers of a new respect for humanity across the galaxy. The atmosphere was vibrant with the murmur of countless alien languages, the air filled with a mixture of awe and apprehension directed at the humans. Inside their quarters, the team gathered around a simple metallic table, the weight of their achievements settling in amidst the quiet clinks of their gear being set aside. "We've done it," Hayes started, his voice thick with emotion and fatigue. "Not just for ourselves, but for Earth. We've secured a place for humanity here among the stars." Dr. Liu Zhang, still tinkering with a piece of alien tech, nodded. "We've shown them our strength, but also our intelligence and adaptability. This could open countless doors for us." Lieutenant Sarah Martinez, who had taken off her battle-worn armor, added, "And possibly new alliances and trade. They respect strength here, and we've shown plenty." Dr. Mark Caldwell, ever the scientist, was already pondering the broader implications. "The data we've gathered, the technologies we've seen and acquired, this could propel our understanding of the universe forward by decades." As they discussed their future and the potential for new exploratory missions and diplomatic ventures, an alien delegation approached their quarters. Led by an emissary from the Galactic Council, they were there to formally acknowledge humanity's entry into the interstellar community. The emissary, a tall, slender being with luminescent skin, addressed Hayes directly. "Captain Hayes, your team's performance has been observed by all. You have not only proven your valor, but have also demonstrated a commendable level of honor and strategy. The Council extends its congratulations and an invitation to speak about your people's role in galactic affairs." Hayes stood, extending a hand in a gesture of peace and cooperation. "We look forward to that greatly. We hope to learn from the galaxy just as much as we hope to contribute to it." As the delegation left, the team sat back down, a sense of pride filling the room. They talked late into the night about their hopes for the future, the potential for new technologies, and the prospects of Earth taking a prominent role on the galactic stage. The following day, the arena that had once been a battlefield was transformed into a stage for celebration. Races from across the galaxy came to witness humanity's formal acceptance into the Council. Hayes, standing at the podium, spoke not just as a soldier, but as an ambassador for Earth. "Today we stand before you not as conquerors, but as allies, learners, and friends. Humanity has much to offer, but we have equally much to learn. We seek a future where we can share knowledge, trade, and cultures, enriching this galaxy's already vibrant tapestry." The crowd responded with an enthusiastic display of support, many eager to engage with the new members of the community. After the ceremonies, the team returned to Earth, heroes not only of a battle but pioneers of a new era for humanity. As their ship entered Earth's orbit, Hayes looked out over the blue expanse of his home planet. The battles they had fought were just the beginning. Ahead lay the immense and uncharted expanse of diplomatic relations, technological exchange, and exploration. But for now, they were content to return home, their mission accomplished, their future as part of a larger universe assured. "Let's go home," Hayes said with a smile, the Earth reflecting in his eyes. "We have stories to tell and a future to build." With that, the spacecraft descended toward Earth, carrying not just a victorious team, but the promise of a new chapter in human history, ready to face whatever challenges and opportunities lay ahead in the cosmos.